All right, guys, so I just wanted to make a video just kind of showing you where I started bow making. I've got two bows here. These are actually the first two Osage bows I ever made, probably 18 years ago. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the first bows that I ever made. I probably don't have the first dozen or so. I mean, some of them broke. I gave some of them away, and the rest of them just kind of walked away over the years. But I do have these. I probably, like I said, I probably made a dozen bows before I made these. But I wanted to show you this because I get a lot of comments from guys that seem to be hesitant about getting into bow making because they think they're not gonna be able to make like a perfect bow on their first try. Guys, I'm here to tell you that you are not gonna make a perfect bow on your first try. That's just the way it is. Bow making is something that you're not probably ever going to master. I've been building bows for 20 years and I still don't think that I have it whipped. I don't think that you can ever get to the point where you think, you know, I don't have anything else to learn in bow making, because there's always something out there that you can try. And so if you are hesitant to get into bow making, stop looking at the entire mountain and letting that thing intimidate you. Look at what you want to accomplish and then think about, what can I do right now to start that journey? What is the first step that I can take? And if that is going down to Home Depot and getting a maple board and building a board bow, do that. You could build a board bow for less than 20 bucks. I've got a series on YouTube showing you how to do it. Now in that series, I back it with rawhide. You don't have to do that. You can cut up some old blue jeans and back it with denim if you want to. Don't let the process intimidate you. You've got to get started. First step, get started on it. Now, the reason I want to show you these bows is because they're not very good. They're pretty poor. This one is actually the first Osage bow that I ever made. It's kind of a cool bow. I don't know, I think it's like 54 inches overall. Got a little knot hole through the limb there. It's way too wide for an Osage bow, but the thing that really stands out about this bow is that when I tillered this thing, I did most of it with a rasp, and I just cut flat across the belly on a lot of it. And so my edges, if you look right in here and right in here, my edges are really not even at all. I mean, I've got real thick spots, I've got real thin spots. I mean, overall the tiller looks okay, but the bow is just absolutely ugly. This one, I've got sinew patches on it. I had a little crack right here, so I put a sinew patch on there. I didn't cut my shelf out just right, and it started to crack right there, so I had to put a big bunch of sinew on there. The sides are not parallel. I mean, I've got a real thin part or narrow part here, and then it gets fat down here by the riser. This limb's actually wider than this limb. But I mean, it's a pretty cool bow, and it didn't take a lot of set. And I actually killed the first deer that I ever took with a self bow was with this bow right here. And I remember that like it was yesterday. And that is, you know, if you're a hunter, that's one of the great things about building bows, is because it allows you to be intimately involved in every step of the process. And are you going to give up some opportunities to kill animals? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're going to give up opportunities when you move to traditional from compound, if that's what you've done. And even more so when you start building and hunting with your own bows. But you know what? Giving up those opportunities, it does a couple of things. One, it allows you more time in the field. It allows you to observe wildlife. And then, you know, when you put in all of that effort, when you build up these mountains in front of yourself, when you conquer those things, when you overcome those obstacles, guys, the sense of accomplishment that you get is unparalleled. Some of the other questions that I get from guys that are thinking about, maybe they're into traditional archery right now and they're thinking about bow building and hunting with their bows, is they wonder if a self bow can match the performance or perform anywhere even close to, a modern laminate bow. And I'm here to tell you that absolutely yes, they can. They can exceed the performance of a modern glass bow if they're efficient, if they're built right. Now, it might take you a little while to get your bows to that point, but I can build a practical hunting bow that'll shoot almost 180 feet per second with a 10 grain per pound arrow. Now you could, if you were just chasing speed, you could get well beyond that, but to build a practical hunting weapon that's gonna be durable, stand up to the abuse in the field, you can expect with a little bit of practice and a little bit of bows under your belt to get something that's gonna shoot, high 160s into the 170s. I've got a friend of mine that signed up for my Patreon account that got into bow building here probably a little over a year ago. He's only built, I think, 18 or 20 bows so far, and he is absolutely crushing it. This is David Young, and he's been building Pacific U recurves that I guarantee are shooting well into the 170s. And just, he's only built 20 bows. Heck, I didn't get a bow that would shoot that fast until I'd been building bows for 10 years. I'd probably built 200 bows by that time. Guys also ask me if these bows, how effective they are for hunting weapons. They wonder if they can be as efficient or as effective as a modern glass bow. Absolutely. I have been very fortunate and have been able to hunt and kill elk, bears, whitetails, mule deer, and hogs, all manner of small game. I've shot completely through a bull elk with one of these bows. There's nothing about a self bow that is inherently less effective than any other bow out there. Another thing that seems to hold guys back from getting into building self bows and hunting with self bows is there's this thought that they require a lot of maintenance, and that self bows don't require any maintenance any more so than any other bow. I string mine in the morning, I hunt all day, I unstring it at night, and that's basically it. If that thing is sealed, even a sinew-backed bow, if it's sealed up well, and all you gotta do is put some true oil on it or something like that, if it's sealed up well, I've hunted in all kinds of different weather conditions. I mean, from wet snow to pouring rain, and have never had any trouble with one of my bows failing on me. Another question that I sometimes get is, how long do these bows last? Like, there's this idea that a self bow has this maximum life expectancy or maximum number of shots that you can expect to get from it before one day it just miraculously explodes or blows up. That's not really the case. If a bow is built right and you take care of it, they're gonna last for, I guess, forever. I've never had a bow break on me that I thought because I shot it too much or because it was too old. I've got some of my bows that I've shot thousands and thousands of times. Does the performance decrease over time? When you first build a bow, there's gonna be a break-in period. When you first build it, say that first maybe 100 or 200 shots, you can expect to see a little bit of decrease in the weight, maybe a 2 pounds or so. But once you get past that break-in period, the bow becomes pretty stable, and you can expect it to perform like that for years to come. When I first started building bows, YouTube didn't exist. I mean, there is so much information for free on YouTube, on the forums. There's so much information available to help you get started and work your way through the bow building process. So don't hesitate any longer. Take the first step, identify what the first step is, and that's probably going to be getting wood. And so go get you some wood and start making shavings.